one.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pinstriped Prospect Podcast. Shout out to Ricky for getting that right every time. I'm your host this week, James O'Connor, for this post-game edition. Yankees take a 1-0 lead in this wildcard series against the Cleveland Indians. I'm joined by, as always, Ricky Keeler. Ricky, how you doing today?
Doing good, James. I think to sum it up, as a Yankee fan, you could not ask for much better than what you got tonight.
And as always, again, back this week, Alexis, how are you?
Doing well. Great Yankees win tonight to kick off the postseason. A very dominant performance for Gerrit Cole. All-around great game by our Yankees.
So, the final score, 12-2. Gleyber Torres is 4 for 4. Just a lot of positive signs all around. Just for both of you, what were your overall thoughts of the game?
Well, it's like I said, James and Alexis, from the start. I don't think if you're a Yankee fan and you gave the perfect picture of this game, it's not far off from what you got. You got 2 runs in the first 4 pitches of the game thanks to the 2-run homer by Aaron Judge, and the Yankees just kept pouring it on. They kept being the aggressor. They didn't have 1-2-3 inning against the AL pitching Triple Crown winner. And this is the team that you tell, if you listen to Luke Voit pregame, they felt they had something to prove when everybody said you can't hit on the road. James and I talked on Monday saying, well, we're concerned that the Yankees can't hit on the road and can't bring their offense away from Yankee Stadium after that rough week they just had. Well, they proved they can flip the switch. And Gleyber Torres had an insane game. Aaron Boone said, I'm smarter than all you Yankee fans that said Brett Garner shouldn't be in the lineup. Got that one right. And Gerrit Cole, I thought, had the less of the 2 pressures in this game because Bieber had to pitch like the Cy Young winner that he is, and Gerrit Cole can just go out and be himself in the third 13 strikeout game of his postseason career, the second most in Yankee postseason history. You can't ask for much better than what you got.
Alexis, what about you?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, you had hits almost all across the board for the Yankees. LeMahieu 2 for 5 with an RBI. Judge 1 for 5, 2 RBIs. Voit 2 for 5, an RBI. Stanton 1 for 5 with that big home run to bring in that run. Urshela 1 for 4 with an RBI. You had Torres again 4 for 4, 3 RBIs. Absolute great performance for Torres. Gardner going 3 for 5, 3 RBIs, and Higashioka getting a hit in there too. And then Gerrit Cole being able to go 7 innings, 13 strikeouts. You could not ask for better from the Yankees tonight, especially out of Cole going 7 innings. You know, you save your bullpen. You did not have to go deep into your bullpen tonight just using Cole and Sessa, who Sessa will now be available probably even still tomorrow or the next game we have, if that might be Wednesday or if that would be Friday or Monday. And if the Yankees can pull off a win tomorrow, you've got a really, really fresh rotation going into the ALDS on Monday.
I think overall, this was a statement game by every stretch of the imagination. If you weren't scared of the New York Yankees before this game, you are now. Shane Bieber walked in there as a Triple Crown winner for as pitchers, and he got shellacked for 9 hits and 7 earned runs. That's a wake-up call to the rest of the American League that, hey, we're here, man. This is remember us? Remember the team that everyone thought was undoubtedly the best team in baseball? Well, we just flipped the switch. And it's going to be a scary, scary sight if they could keep up that level of intensity. Because there was a clip going around on Twitter, well, I think at the end of that the final game of the regular season, where Aaron Judge just looked fuming, kind of like shaking his head like, hey, all right, it's time to go now. It's time to go now. This team came out more prepared and just so locked in. It was obvious from the jump. LeMahieu with the base hit, Judge with the home run, and that just set the tone the rest of the way. Cleveland had no chance from the first pitch. And it just it's very impressive how they were just able to flip the switch like that. And that's the tell of a next level team. When you could just turn it on like that out of nowhere, man, that's scary. So I want to kind of jump into Gerrit Cole. Obviously 7 innings, 6 hits, 13 Ks. I know you guys both gave a brief kind of thing about him overall, but really give me some deep analysis of what you saw from tonight. Ricky, I'll start with you.
Well, the one thing I was impressed looking at his line, 17 first pitch strikes on 27 batters he faced, and was the pitch count. I mean, you show me a pitcher that has 8 strikeouts, no walks in 4 innings, and throws less than 60 pitches. So he found a way to strike out a ton of batters and yet still keep the pitch count relatively low so he could give Aaron Boone and the coaching staff 7 innings, which I think you want going to this game. you want Gerrit Cole to give you 7 innings. And the stuff just got more dominant as the night went on. I mean, the only guy that got to him was Josh Naylor, who went 4 for 4 and is running with his helmet flying off when the Indians are down 10. I still don't figure out why. But that's the only guy who really figured him out in this game, that home run in the 4th, which, I mean, Gerrit Cole's been known to give up home runs this year. It's not something I think you got to be worried about. Just hope they're of the solo variety. And for Shane Bieber, he found out the hard way that you give a 2-run homer out of the gate. And it's something we talked about with Justin Latta yesterday, James. Shane Bieber had a propensity to give up the long ball, and that happened to him tonight.
Alexis?
Yeah, I think the big thing, too, you look at is Cole's velocity. He at no point looked flustered. I mean, he was still throwing upper 80s into the 90s into that 7th inning. Just absolutely did not slow down at all. You could tell he was locked in every single pitch. Just looked really, really good tonight.
And that's the guy you pay for. That's the $324 million guy. We, as Yankee people who have watched the Yankees recently, you have not seen that, where you've just been able to kind of sit back, put your feet up, and watch a postseason game with someone on the mound. You just haven't been able to see it. And tonight you were able to do it. The closest thing you get to that is Tanaka, but even with Tanaka, you're still kind of on the edge of your seat a little bit, because he wasn't this dominant postseason, dominant regular season pitcher. Like he stumbled into the postseason before. So you've never really had a sense of confidence from start to finish with anyone in recent years, since maybe CeCe Sabathia in 2009. It's a sight to watch, and it's going to be fun if this is the guy we see the rest of the way. So I kind of want to get into the Cleveland Indians as a whole. We obviously have not seen the Indians play the Yankees all season. Obviously, they played all East teams. But just your first impressions of what you saw from this group. Is this what you expected? Is this what you thought? Obviously, we didn't expect Shane Bieber to give up 7 runs in 4 2/3. But overall, from the team perspective, the lineup, everything. Well, Ricky, did they live up to your expectations? Did you expect a different team? What did you really expect in this group?
This is an Indians team that their weakness is their offense. And Jose Ramirez, who was red hot over the last 2 weeks, did his thing with that RBI double in the 3rd inning, which the Yankees defense prevented that from being much worse. Give credit to the defense for actually making a play as opposed to what they did over the last week. But Lindor going 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Cesar Hernandez did go 1 for 4 as well. But outside of Josh Naylor, this offense didn't really do anything. And this is an Indians team that probably has to play more of the small ball variety as opposed to the Yankees, who can hit the home run and get the extra base hit. So I would be a little bit concerned from the Indians' perspective, because their offense obviously is the weaker point of their team. And I think now going into tomorrow, you look at Tanaka, who could try to maybe fool them with pitches down the zone. If he gets that low strike, I don't know how the Indians are going to be able to counter that unless Tanaka just makes mistakes in the middle of the plate. They're going to have to be able to get hits in big spots. Now, Cleveland did go 3 for 7 with men scoring position, but a lot of those were, especially late in the game, with Naquin's RBI single, so that kind of throws in the equation too. But I think if you're sure the Yankees, the goal has got to be for Carlos Carrasco to get to Carlos Carrasco early, the way you did to Shane Bieber, and kind of try to take the Indians out of it from the get-go.
Alexis?
Yeah,
what did you see from this Indians team tonight?
I don't think anything of what we expected of them. I think we expected a much higher score from them. I think we thought it was going to be a close game in terms of runs scored, and the Yankees absolutely annihilated them. Justin, again, we talked about it. Bieber coming in, we thought he was going to be dominant. We thought it was going to be a pitching duel, and it was the absolute opposite of that. Bieber got annihilated by the Yankees. So I think if you're the Indians, you're a little bit worried about what's coming this week for you.
Yeah, and overall from Cleveland, I think we just saw a different game than we expected. I think we expected kind of this pitching duel, but we previewed it kind of yesterday. This is a bad offensive team. We recorded Monday. This is a bad offensive team. He went up and down the lineup. There was one guy with an over 800 OPS. So it was Jose Ramirez, and sure, he delivered with an RBI double. But other than that, just incredibly underwhelming. Francisco Lindor was underwhelming. Carlos Santana struggled. All those guys that you were scared of kind of in 2017, they just didn't do much of anything. So it's kind of what I expected from Cleveland and from an offensive perspective. But, again, didn't expect Shane Bieber to give up 7 runs in 4 2/3. And now I'm going to throw to Ricky for the ad read.
So here at Pinstriped Prospects, we provide exclusive minor league content to our paid subscribers with a new Dugout membership program. With our Dugout membership program, you get scouting reports, player interviews, features, and much more in addition to our free Major League coverage. We got some great articles up on the site from our founder, Rob Pinstriped, talking about the Appalachian League, which the rookie-level Pulaski squad is in. There's now going to be a collegiate summer league, which is interesting. Rob has an article coming out tomorrow on floating out the idea of maybe the Staten Island Yankees becoming an independent league team. So keep an eye out for those articles. Sign up today for our Dugout membership program for either $5.50 a month or $40 a year. And if you're not so sure that you want to sign up, well, you get your first 30 days free using the promo code #WelcomeBackBaseball. And you got to use the hashtag #WelcomeBackBaseball. And you get your first 30 days free so you can decide in those 30 days whether you like us. And trust me, I think you will. So sign up for your Dugout membership today.
All right, let's move on here. So, Alexis, I'll start with you on this. Was there a player on the Yankees? Voice crack. Sorry, I was screaming during the game. Was there a player on the Yankees here that you were watching for tonight that exceeded your expectations, that you want, or that you just wanted to see perform, and kind of gave you that vote of confidence that this player is going to figure it out? Because let's not forget the Yankees were struggling. They limped into the postseason, losing 6 or 7, I believe. Was there a guy in this lineup that you said, I need to see something from him, and who was that?
Yeah, absolutely. Brett Gardner. We saw him silent pretty much the entire year, with a hit here, hit there, maybe an RBI here, RBI there, coming off of a couple home runs for him during the regular season. I think if this is Brett Gardner breaking out, I think the Yankee fans can start to get excited. If he can really heat up into the postseason, that's the time he needs to do it. So, right on time for him. Just an overall great night for Brett Gardner.
Ricky?
I'm going to say Gleyber Torres because he's finally backing up. He looked like the player I picked to win AL MVP this year. And give credit to ESPN for showing, I think it was during the 7th inning, their video caught Aaron Judge going to Gleyber Torres, pointing at his wrist saying, "It's time." So you could kind of tell where this Yankees mindset is at. And if Torres has now found that switch, he's the X factor on this team, because you look at the comparison between the two offenses. Cleveland needs Lindor to hit. They need Ramirez to hit, because if those two guys don't hit, their offense doesn't go anywhere. The Yankees, if one guy struggles, 2 guys pick him up. And I think that's where this offense is going to get by in this series. Now, if they get to the next series, we'll see how it hurts if it helps or hurts against Tampa. If Tampa wins, and they had a good performance today in Game 1, even though Toronto didn't throw their ace today. We'll keep that in mind going forward. But for right now, Torres hitting in the 7th spot, going 4 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBI. Impressive, and that's your 7th hitter. I mean, that's just how deep this Yankee lineup can be, and they can have a hero. And tonight, I would say Torres even though Judge got the home run, I would say Torres is the offensive MVP of the night.
And I'm going to have to agree with you. That guy for me was Gleyber. You need, and let's not get this straight. Let's not get this confused. Aaron Hicks is by no means a 3-hitter. He did draw 2 walks tonight. He will draw walks. He will get on base. That's what he does. But he's not a 3-hitter. The 3-hitter in this team should be Gleyber Torres. And is Aaron Boone going to move him up in the lineup next game? I don't think he will. I think he feels a little more comfortable with Gleyber down the lineup. But you need Gleyber Torres hitting. Giancarlo Stanton is not going to get the big hits. Some of these other guys are not going to get the big hits. So you need one of those guys. You need someone down there, not named Aaron Judge or DJ LeMahieu, and Luke Voigt for that matter, to be able to produce. And Gleyber being 4 for 4 tonight with 3 RBIs, looking like the guy that we all thought he was and know he is. It means a lot to this team. So, also, shout out to Kyle Higashioka tonight. Just people were I was discussing with some Yankee fans saying, "Oh, why not Gary? Why not Gary? Gary's a better player. Gary's a better player." And when I say Yankee fans, I mean one of my friends. I don't know what he thinks sometimes. But just shout out to Higashioka. 1 for 5, got that base hit. Was a huge part of that inning where they scored the run. I believe it was the 4th inning, or the 3rd inning, one or the other. And he called a phenomenal game tonight. So just from here on out, you guys, it's a foregone conclusion that Higashioka is just Gerrit Cole's personal catcher, correct? Either one of you.
Oh yeah, it's not even close. Yeah. Kyle Higashioka catches Gerrit Cole until further notice. And I saw on Twitter there's just some pitches Gerrit Cole throws that you're more confident that Higashioka is going to prevent from being an error to the backstop or messing it up. And I think it's more of a credit to Higashioka than it is an indictment on Sanchez. And I think you'll see Sanchez tomorrow night for Game 2, because at this point, you kind of want to see him get in the lineup a little bit against Carrasco. I think you'll maybe see Clinton Frazier get an opportunity, and we'll see what this lineup looks like from there. I will say, though, on Stanton's point, we kind of talked about it on Monday. Stanton had that double where he hit the ball in the screws in the fifth inning on Saturday, and now you have that home run tonight, albeit a meaningless home run. But we kind of saw it last year in the LCS against Houston. He hits the home run in Game 1 off Greinke. It looks like he's turned the corner and then has the injury. I wonder if we're going to start to see Giancarlo Stanton find the rhythm and maybe the ninth inning meaningless home run, which the guy in the booth is known for hitting those meaningless home runs in the postseason up until 2009. And funny, A-Rod did mention it on the broadcast, but maybe Stanton, if he's healthy this time, maybe that's something that gets him in a rhythm.
If you didn't think Giancarlo Stanton was in a meaningless home run at some point, you're out of, like you felt it. He looked so bad against Shane Bieber, and then all of a sudden, here you go, they're up 10 runs, and now let me put one into the seats. Typical.
Hey, use him late in the game. Maybe tomorrow night against the Indians bullpen, he gets a hit late after not seeing Carrasco off speed pitches anymore.
Wishful thinking. But this is all more back into Higashioka. Because this kind of, I know he wasn't great tonight, but he was competent despite that throw into center field. I don't know what that was. Do you think at any point during this postseason there will be discussion for him to start Origario when Gerrit Cole is not pitching? Is that a possibility? What do you guys think?
I think it's absolutely a possibility. I think we need to see Sanchez, be better defensively as well. I don't think Higashioka had any defensive errors tonight. It just looked really solid. I think he's excited about the opportunity he's getting to catch questionably the best pitcher in the major leagues right now. I think he's taking advantage of that. I think he sees this as an opportunity the Yankees are giving him, and he knows he needs to produce based off this. And you said it, he called a phenomenal game tonight. And just looks like he's having fun back there with Cole.
Ricky?
I still think you got to give Sanchez at least a shot tomorrow. I get it. You kind of want Higashioka's defense in there, especially if Tanaka throws those splitters down in the zone. You want the catcher to be able to block those, prevent free runners from getting to second or third base. But at the same time, I think Sanchez, one thing to consider, his bat was starting to heat up, had a lot of multi-hit games over the last week. You don't want to get his bat cold to the point where now you're bringing him in to pinch hit, and he hasn't swung the bat in a while, and you need him to hit that big home run. So I think what Boone has to do is kind of find that balance. I think in a Game 3, and Aaron Boone said earlier Tuesday in the pregame, that J. Happ is likely going to pitch Game 3. I'd rather have my best defensive catcher out there Game 3, so maybe that's where we start having that Higashioka conversation. But in terms of Game 2, I still think you have to start Gary Sanchez tomorrow because I think it sends a message and a negative message towards Sanchez, towards his confidence, if you don't play him tomorrow.
Before we get into tomorrow's game, I just want to dive into the Brett Gardner conversation because we had this, Ricky, we talked about this yesterday, I said I had the weirdest feeling and I just knew that Brett Gardner was going to start this game. I don't know if I necessarily expected him to go 3 for 5 with a homer. I don't think anyone did, but in typical Brett Gardner fashion, he continues to somehow find his way. When you saw Gardner in that lineup card, what were your initial thoughts, and what were your thoughts about the way he played tonight? You can't say much else, but overall, are we going to see him tomorrow? What do you think? Alexis, start with you.
I think when we initially saw Gardner in the lineup, I think there was concern. I think any Yankee fan has to admit they were slightly concerned to see that name in there, opposed to Clint Frazier being in that lineup. I think, we were all a little bit concerned that it was Gardner in there, but I think he showed that he's a veteran. He's a veteran of the game who knows what he's doing, and when the time is right, he produces. And he was an absolute huge part of this Yankees win tonight.
Ricky, do we see Gardner tomorrow?
I wouldn't rule it out. And give Joel Sherman from MLB Network and New York Post credit. He was the one that kind of got that idea out there Monday afternoon, and it was like I could see it because you kind of want to value in playing in left field, and there's a lot of ground to cover in left field in Cleveland. I would like to see Clinton Frazier play just because I think he kind of wants to stick it to his old organization and kind of make an impact. Maybe he'll come off the bench late if he needs to in a big spot if he doesn't play. But at the same time, I got to give Gardner credit because I think he also showed he's a leader. And he talked about on his post game tonight or Tuesday night, whenever you listen to this podcast, about he kind of gave that pep talk to everybody, saying it's our season starts right now, and that's what kind of the Yankees were missing, that boost over that final week, that extra energy to get him over the edge. Gardner kind of brings that in a weird way. Like Aaron Judge has that impact on the field side. In the clubhouse, it's kind of Gardner. And we've seen it going back. I know we're going back a couple of years. That Game 5 against Cleveland in 17, he finds a way to draw long at bats and make an impact somehow. You look at his numbers against Carrasco lifetime, 6 for 22. He's seen the most of Carrasco of anybody. A double, a triple, 3 RBI, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, and on base of 407. So if you're going to look at the numbers kind of tell you, play Brett Gardner. He's got 6 of the Yankees' 9 hits against them, and the other 2 of the other 3 are Eric Kratz. So I could see why Gardner would play tomorrow.
We're going to see Gardner tomorrow, I'm pretty sure of it. Obviously, tonight playing a factor, and just Aaron Boone has an obsession. Not an obsession, but he has a comfortability. There is a sense of comfortability with Brett Gardner out there that while he may not win you a game, but he's also not going to cost you a game. I'm sure there's still some hesitancy with Clint Frazier's defensive issues that he had last year, even though he showed a significant improvement. I just think Aaron Boone sees Brett Gardner as the safer option for whatever reason. Obviously, Clint Frazier has that bigger boom potential, but Gardner has that well lower bust potential, and that might be because the bar is set so low for him. But with that being said, Gardner is going to probably likely be in there tomorrow. So before we sign off here, let's kind of preview tomorrow's game. Tanaka, Carrasco. Ricky, we'll start with you. What should we watch tomorrow? What should we expect to see? What are your feelings going to the game? Just give me a little preview.
I think if you're a Yankees fan, you have to feel confident going into this game. Carrasco's been really good in September down the stretch. I think his ERA was under 2 in September over the last 5 starts. I think you also have to account for a lot of that. You had his last start against the Pirates. One of the things to consider, though, Jose Ramirez crushes Tanaka lifetime, 9 for 14, with a double, triple, home run, and a pair of RBI. So I think you'll see Jose Ramirez make an impact. You just have to minimize that impact somehow. Does Francisco Lindor wake up for Cleveland? Because if he does, that creates another dynamic. And I think if you're Aaron Boone, having the start you had tonight kind of allows you to be more aggressive with the bullpen. If you see Tanaka struggling in the 4th, 5th inning, you can now make that move and go to Chad Green for more than an inning. You could go to Ottavino a little bit earlier if you want, because you still have tomorrow in your back pocket if you do lose. So I think you're going to start to see maybe more the aggressiveness of Aaron Boone if this game is close and kind of playing a factor in the middle inning. So maybe you'll see more of an aggressive managing style tomorrow. And I think right now, I think Cleveland's going to play better. I think Carrasco is going to give you a quality start. I don't know about a dominant start, but I expect this game to be a lot closer than it was tonight. I think it's from a Cleveland team that has battled with Sandy Alomar as manager, and they've been a very competitive team over the last month and a half. I don't expect this Cleveland team to go quietly.
Are you still expecting Yankees in 3, or has tonight leaned you towards Yankees in 2?
You know, this team has kind of sent that message. But I'm not a cynic. I kind of want to see them do it again. Mm-hmm. Because we know this team is streaky. Now, if they've got the streak offensively now, then yeah, they should roll tomorrow. But I think from all of us watching the Yankees this season, there's a small part in everybody that kind of wants to see them prove it again. And I'm not saying the offense is going to go ice cold tomorrow. I'm just looking at kind of, can anybody else see this being like a 5-4 kind of ball game? I just don't think Cleveland's going to get blown out twice with the quality of pitching they have.
I don't think so either. I think I'm with you. I think tomorrow's going to be a better game, but I'm sticking with my Yankees in 2 pick. I think they get it done tomorrow. Tanaka, always out there with something to prove, so I'm going Yankees in 2 still. Alexis, what should we watch for tomorrow?
I think you watch the pitching matchup like we've all talked about. I think the Yankees need to come out swinging again. To Ricky's point, the Yankees have kind of been up and down. Days that they've scored a lot of runs, they've either come out and, again, continued to hit, or they've kind of gone silent. And I feel like in the postseason, you can't bet on the Yankees to go silent. I think they're pumped up right now. I think they're ready to go. I think the series ends tomorrow. I think the Yankees will take it.
One of the things to keep in mind, third time through the order that Carrasco faced the team this year, teams are hitting 306, 304. Second time through, 6 of the 8 home runs Carrasco's allowed is in that second time. So the Yankees, I think, would love to get out ahead, but I would kind of look if the Yankees are going to have that breakout inning, look for it maybe like the 4th, 5th inning. That'd be something to watch for.
And that also is going to play a huge factor. Thank you for bringing that up, because the Yankees obviously see a lot of pitches. That's what they do. That they have guys that goes deep into the count. Aaron Hicks is literally batting third because he sees 8 pitches in at bat. So that's something to watch. Carrasco, I believe, was hot at the end of the year. Ricky mentioned that yesterday. Tanaka pitched well all season despite that last start, and you know how he is in the postseason. So it should be an interesting game. Looking forward to it. But I think that'll wrap our preview up here. So tomorrow night, 7:08, and after the game, we'll be back here, maybe with a video. I think we're going to do a live show. Not sure. Not going to make any promises, but we'll see what happens. So for Alexis, Ricky, I'm James O'Connell. Have a good night, everyone.